What's going on, guys? Lately, your boy's been having some issues with the shifter on the boat. I thought the linkage was out of adjustment, but I'll show you what I did. So here's where you adjust the shift linkage on the boat right here. You pull this off and you spin this doohickey forward or backwards, giving you more or less. You want it right in the middle for neutral. So I got this thing set up perfectly. But what was happening is that when the shifter would be pressed into gear, it would slip into high idle mode. It would slip into free rev mode. So what I did was I disassembled the whole shifter and found out how to fix it. And I'll show you guys what I did. All right, so first things first, you're gonna wanna remove it from the boat. Once you got it off the boat, there's gonna be a button right here for high idle mode. You're gonna remove that button, just pry it off with a pick or a flathead screwdriver. Then probably the most difficult part is this 11/16 nut that is in here. Mine was severely corroded, so I needed an impact gun to pull this off. And then once it was loose, it was still seized on there, so I used a pry bar to pry around this area here. And so you don't make the same mistake as me. I don't know how you get around it, maybe with some heat or some penetrating oil, but when this finally came off, it took this with it. This was lodged inside there, so I broke this in half and totally ruined this whole unit. I found a Chinese one on Amazon for about 250 bucks. So I got that one coming, but since this one's ruined anyways, I'm still gonna show you guys how to disassemble it fully, and I'll show you what was wrong with it and how I could have repaired it myself. All right, so now that you have your lever off, you're gonna start on the back side here. We're gonna undo the center section bolt here. This side's a Phillips. This side is a 8mm. And then this will just come out like so. Next step you're gonna do is this Phillips head right here. This can be super tight. I've already had this apart, so it's loose, but initially I needed a impact driver to get that out, so I didn't strip. So once that's out, you remove this piece, set it aside. Then the throttle linkage comes off like so. After that, we're going to be taking off these 4 Phillips heads to remove this plastic section. All right, those are off. Now this whole plastic piece will come out like that. Now you have your neutral safety switch, which easily just removes like that. So next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take this whole deal right here, push it from the back side with your finger, and it'll go ahead and come up like that. Now you see where I broke it pulling the shifter off. It should look a little more like that on yours, but there we go. I destroyed it, so that's what I broke off. But so then if you want to take this shifter arm off, it just pulls straight up and out like that. Now it's this part is totally disassembled, but where mine failed is actually in here. This is the mechanism that gives you the high idle mode when you press the button over here. So what that does, it pushes a pin that releases, gives this a little bit of wiggle room right there, and allows it to free rev. So now what's happening is you're turning this without moving these teeth. But when it's in, it's turning all together. So my issue was the button was depressed a little bit because there was some corrosion holding it down, and it was slipping past. So when I'd move the throttle, it would slip in like that, and instead of moving the teeth, it would just move the throttle, which is bolted to this. So in order to fix this, first thing you're going to do is you're going to use a small punch and a small hammer and push this pin out. So that pin is going to go straight out either direction. So once that's out, you're gonna have this this piece right here, which allows it to slip. Goes right like that. Then the gear is gonna be able to separate from this part. So that just pulls off right like that. Not much to it. So here I'll actually show you, there's another pin in here that sits this plate into the locked position and the unlocked position. So this slides out pretty easily. And I don't know if you can see, I was gonna fabricate a new pin for mine, but this won't focus, but see how this side is nice and square and the other side is totally rounded off and worn out? I think that's the reason mine was slipping into neutral mode. So I was either gonna try and flip this over or fabricate a new one of these pins and reassemble it. But there you go. That's pretty much how to totally disassemble and reassemble one of these things. I made this video because I couldn't find anything on YouTube. There are no tutorials out there or anything on how to disassemble and reassemble one of these. Unfortunately, I broke mine, so I'm gonna have to replace it anyway, but I could have fixed it, and hopefully you can too. So until next time, this is Kel. See you guys on the water.